Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, March 20th. We have all you need to know about the police's request for public assistance in a local theft case, as well as details on criminal charges facing Center County residents.
We also have more on the backlash faced by the federal government due to the new Willow Project, along with weather, sports, and entertainment. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Anjelica Rubin.
And I'm AJ Sisson.
The State College Police Department is asking for the public's assistance in identifying multiple suspects involved in an alleged theft from the Nittany Mall's Planet Fitness on March 8th. An SCPD release reports that 4 individuals reported wallets and keys stolen. Additionally, over $2,000 in unauthorized credit card charges were totaled as part of the theft. Anyone with more information is urged to contact State College Police immediately.
2 Center County residents have been charged for allegedly shooting a BB gun while driving in downtown State College. Tegan Ettinger and Sierra Gregg both admitted to police that they were involved in the incident and were taking turns operating the vehicle and BB gun. When police first questioned Gregg, she falsely claimed she was forced to drive a man around who was responsible for the event. 4 individuals were minorly injured and no one had to go to the hospital. Ettinger and Gregg are set to appear in court on April 12th for preliminary hearings.
3 men were charged with aggravated assault Thursday after injuring another man during a fight in downtown State College back in November. The man who was beaten during the fight along East Calder Way was hospitalized at the Geisinger Medical Center. He suffered from a brain and occipital bleed. The police found the 4 men involved in the fight had engaged in a verbal argument before it all turned violent. All 3 men were arraigned by District Judge Don Hahn and are expected to have a preliminary hearing on Wednesday.
A 39-year-old man from El Salvador was charged with 2 felonies after firing into a populated residential area in Belfont. Elias Quintanilla fired 6 shots into a home along East Lamb Street, with 3 being fired into the front wall of the home. 11 people were detained and questioned during the investigation. Police say Quintanilla was not legally allowed to possess the firearm and was arraigned Wednesday and did not post bail. He has a preliminary hearing scheduled for Wednesday and will be detained at Center County Correctional Facility in the meantime. It's officially the first day of spring, and Penn State students are craving for some sunny weather. Hannah George with Campus Weather Service will share expected temperatures for this week in tonight's weather report. Take a look.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good evening from the Penn State Campus Weather Service. I'm Hannah George. I hope you all are enjoying your first day of spring out there. Overall in the state, we're looking at some clear skies out there, and that's the case here in State College as well. You can see over the hub, not a cloud in the sky, absolutely beautiful. And we're looking at a current temperature of 48 out there. It did hit 50 for a second, but it's starting to cool down as we move into the later hours of the day. That feels like a 44 and some wind out there. Going to make it feel a little bit cooler at times, but compared to the cool weekend we had, definitely feels a little bit like spring out there. As mentioned, we hit a peak of about 50 out there. You can see things are going to get a little cooler overnight, but hopefully tomorrow we're going to wake up to some warmer temperatures. I'll talk about those a bit later, but right now I just want to give you a little information on the equinoxes. The summer solstice, as you may know, is the longest day of the year that occurs in June. The winter solstice being the shortest day of the year that occurs in December. But the spring and fall equinox, the spring one, is what we'll be experiencing here today, is when we see equal day and equal night. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of information on that as we experience the spring equinox here today. Temperatures in the state, you can see mainly high 40s, low 50s out there. Places in the eastern half hanging on those 50s still as we move into the evening, but this western half is starting to get a bit cooler. But overall in the last 24 hours, everywhere has seen an increase of some kind, a decent increase, might I add, with places like Erie seeing an 18-degree increase in the last 24 hours. And most of this eastern half of the country, in fact, all of it, that's what they're seeing. Places like Columbia not seeing quite as much, but they're still seeing something. And I want to talk just a tiny bit more about those more southern states, you can see places like Nashville, 60, Raleigh, 64. To us, that may sound pretty nice, but for them, they actually like to see it a little bit warmer this time of year. In fact, in the next couple of days, they're going to be getting into the high 70s, and places like Tampa are going to be in the high 80s. So though those temperatures may seem pretty nice to us, they've been seeing some cooler temps there as well. So they're thinking what we're thinking up here, that it should be a little bit warmer as we go into spring. You can see on the radar, not a lot going on. That's going to continue into Wednesday as it's pretty dry out here. You can see here's Wednesday evening, not much going on. But when you wake up Thursday, this system's going to be covering most of the state, and it's going to stick around for the most part. You can see Thursday here in State College, at least, we're still seeing a bit of this band of rain hitting us. Going to clear out Friday. This system has a chance of maybe hitting us a bit earlier, but definitely by Saturday morning, we're going to wake up to that covering most of the state. That's going to stick around as well, much like the system we saw here Thursday. You can see it's going to slowly move out here. Sunday at midnight, you can see it's still possibly over State College, but it is making its way out. Tonight, we're going to be seeing a low of 29 degrees, mostly clear skies. Those clear skies are going to stick around into tomorrow as we wake up to a high of 57 degrees, certainly spring with 57 degrees and mostly sunny out there. A beautiful day. And speaking of beautiful days, most of this week is going to be looking at some lovely spring temperatures, though we are going to see some rain. You can see, once again, Tuesday, that high of 57. We're going to be looking at a low of 35, so not quite as cool as tonight, but Wednesday's going to warm up just a touch more with a temperature of 59 and a low of 46. Thursday, we're going to wake up to a lot of rain, like I mentioned, possibly, but a high of 67. So to me, at least, that high of 67 makes up a little bit for the rain. We're going to be looking at a low of 46 Thursday night, and Friday is going to cool down just a bit with a high of 54, still a decent temperature, and a low of 41. Saturday cooling down just a tad bit more as we see some rain out there possibly, and a high of 52, a low of 37 Saturday night. And Sunday, it's going to get a little bit warmer once again with partly cloudy skies and a high of 54. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm Hannah George for PSN News. Happy spring.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Antonio Fondacaro with your sports update. Penn State Nittany Lions basketball made it into their first NCAA March Madness tournament since 2011 this year. The Nittany Lions defeated Texas A&M in dominating fashion during the first round of the tournament. The 76-59 victory over the Aggies prompted the Blue and White to face the University of Texas in the round of 32. Coach Micah Shrewsbury wrote the word believe in the team locker room before the game. Perhaps belief alone wasn't enough, as the Nittany Lions fell to Texas 66-71 to conclude their magic run in the NCAA tournament. Penn State Wrestling won the NCAA Division I National Championship team title this past weekend. Its 11th win since Coach Cale Sanderson's tenure at Penn State. This feat marks the second consecutive year the Nittany Lions won the team title. Aaron Brooks and Carter Starachi won NCAA titles at 184 and 174 pounds respectively. Brooks' 7-2 win over Parker Kakaisen marks his third consecutive NCAA title. Carter Starachi has also received honors as a three-time champion, pitting Mikey Labriola in the first period. True freshman Levi Haynes made his NCAA tournament debut, placing second at 157 after losing to Austin O'Connor 6-2. Other notable wrestlers also placed in the tournament. Shane Van Ness placed third at 131, Roman Bravo Young took second at 133, and Greg Kirkfleet fell to Mason Paris, placing second at heavyweight. Lots of buzz is building as we continue to shift through the NFL offseason. The Chicago Bears traded the number 1 overall pick to the Carolina Panthers for 2 first-round picks and standout wide receiver DJ Moore. Carolina is on the clock to pick their quarterback of the future. The New York Giants paid their quarterback Daniel Jones a contract worth $40 million annually. The Big Blue also acquired tight end Darren Waller in exchange for the 100th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Eagles lost a ton of starters following their Super Bowl loss, including Marcus Epps, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and various defensive line contributors such as Javon Hargrave. Philly was able to retain cornerback Darius Slay after previously stating they were going to let him walk. Good news for the other team in New York. Green Bay Packers legend Aaron Rodgers says that he, quote, intends to play for the New York Jets. Lots more to keep track of as the first official week of the NFL offseason subsides. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Gracie Eckerly has the latest updates from the entertainment world. Stay tuned.
Hey everybody, thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.
Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News.
Penn State Network News is a student-produced, bi-weekly live news show featuring all student talent.
From local and national news to sports, entertainment, weather, and live interviews, we have it all.
We also feature student-made packages from across campus.
Airing every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m.
We are PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State. Hey everyone, we are Red Carpet News, your main source of entertainment news at Penn State University.
Man, this festival is going to be popping.
I'm Alex Porzillo, here with Aiden Harold.
He's going to 23rd with Daddy Elon Warbucks to actual space away from Kim.
So in sync, especially during Kendrick's part when they came out, reporting on anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion, to celebrity gossip. You don't want to miss out on any of the hot topics we discuss. Find our segments on YouTube under the name Red Carpet News for your daily dose of entertainment. We are Red Carpet News. Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Gracie Eckerly with your entertainment update. 50 Days of Primanti Brothers is upon us, or at least those of age. The 50-Day Challenge is hosted by the popular chain restaurant and bar located in downtown State College. To participate, one must purchase a food or beverage from the establishment every single day for 50 days. Penn State's beloved tradition began last Thursday, March 16th, and will run until Friday, May 5th. General Manager Kevin Corman says the winners can look forward to prizes, a party, and most of all, the pride and prestige. Only a few short weeks after the conclusion of Penn State's 2023 Thon weekend, Will Vincent has been announced as the Executive Director for Thon 2024. Will is a senior here studying mechanical engineering and has played an active role in Thon over the years. He's previously served as a Special Events Director in 2023, Alumni Engagement Captain in 2021, and a Donor and Alumni Relations Committee member in 2020. The exciting news was posted to Penn State's Instagram on Saturday. The Theme-a-thon 2024 will wait to be announced until the commencement of next year's homecoming parade in October. Back in downtown State College, the Eberly College of Science held a special Phi Day celebration at 3 Dots downtown. Field reporter Samantha Varelli has the details. Take a look.
The Penn State Eberly College of Sciences annual Pi Day Science Open Mic Night returned this week for Pi Day 2023. The event was open to all kinds of science-themed performances, including poetry readings, music, and stand-up comedy, among others. Community members and performers were invited to enjoy cookies, pie, and refreshments, as well as community science outreach activities. Caitlin Tatey said the event started as a way to bring the Penn State science community together in 2018.
We have a really wide range of people who come to our open mic night. So someone might see their professor or a student they have, and just being able to see them in a more fun light than they're typically used to each day is a really unique opportunity.
It's the third annual Pi Day Science Open Mic Night after holding off for a few years due to the coronavirus pandemic. And for the first time ever, the Eberly College of Science is hosting the event in collaboration with the 3 Dots Downtown Community Center.
Really excited to move to 3 Dots this year. It's a really great opportunity to be able to collaborate with them, and it's amazing that they have this great space for us to be able to host this community event.
One of the performers, Caden Jeffrey Robbins, says he's played music since he was 8 years old, but has played guitar for the last year and a half.
I actually almost went into science until music really caught my eye. And along the way with music, I discovered there's a lot of ways computers relate to it.
3 judges from the Eberly College chose performances from the night to win various awards, the grand prize being a Pi Day pie. For PSN News, I'm Samantha Varelli.
It's clear the college and its community was happy to see the event back after its 3-year break. Taylor Swift kicked off the start of her Eras Tour over the weekend in Swift City, Arizona. Her 3-hour set list includes songs from the entirety of Swift's discography and performance from each of her 10 distinguished albums or eras. Swift, who's known for her versatility in music genres, played 44 songs. They ranged anywhere from her 2006 country hit Tim McGraw to her folklorian song Cardigan to the 2022 Midnight's Bop Karma. Taylor Swift's last tour was in 2018 for her album Reputation. Billboard reports that the Eras Tour is projected to gross over $600 million in revenue. If you were lucky enough to score some Taylor tickets, you're in for the show of a lifetime. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Marielle Reese will be speaking to Sophia Mousson, the executive director of Penn State's Movin' On Festival. Stay tuned.
Ready, mics? 3, 2, fade in on 2, mic and cue.
This is Nittany Talk.
Like us making shows out.
I would say spring.
Slow down. And he knew that. How do you say I know.
She like continues to hold her values and everything though. And I think that that's really important. So yeah, and self-care Saturday.
And you lose a lot of sleep.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Culture Central. My name is Jaden Stewart,
What's good, everybody? My name is Eric Pichardo, and we are your hosts
creators
and executive producers of Culture Central. Is this Whitney Houston? Like,
We're doing things that have never been done before, so welcome to the family.
If you don't include human beings, you cannot accurately model the way the climate has changed over the last 50 years.
And I don't know that we're ever going to be free of some sort of bug.
That the natural state of motion for something to be in is to remain in its current state of motion.
Been lucky enough to discover various things out there. Pulsars, exoplanets, and some other phenomena that ended up being interesting.
Hi, I'm Johnson Gary with Asking Penn State.
With Asking Penn State,
Asking Penn State.
Asking Penn State.
Asking Penn State.
Welcome back to Asking Penn State.
Hello and welcome back to PSN News. I'm Marielle Reese. With me tonight is Sophia Mousson, the Executive Director of Penn State's Movin' On Festival. Sophia, thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks so much for having me.
So I wanted to ask, what exactly is the Movin' On Festival?
Sure. So Movin' On is Penn State's annual music festival. It's fully student run, and basically it's an event that we have on the last Friday of classes every spring. And we bring 3 national acts, or 4 national acts, sometimes it changes sometimes. And then we have a student act open the show. But it's in its 48th year now. So it's definitely a tradition here. And it kind of started as an event that was meant to like send off the seniors who are moving on with their life. So hence the name.
Oh, that's awesome. So like, is it a collaboration between like different student organizations, or is it just one, or?
Yeah, so Movin' On is its own organization, like itself. However, we definitely are a collaborative organization. We work with different orgs to make it possible. So those include SPA, ARSH, and the UPUA, our student government.
Oh, wow. So like, if one student wants to get involved, like how would one go about that?
Yeah, for sure. So we have 3 different tiers of involvement. We first have our executive board, and then we have a core team made up of about 40 to 50 people every year. Cool. And those are all tons of different positions that like are all the people who work directly under our directors on the executive board. And then we have a promo team, which is a little bit less of a responsibility level. So if anyone wants to get involved but aren't sure they want to commit like all their time to it, that's a great way to start. But we open those up early fall normally. So if you follow along on our Instagram, you can see.
That's really cool. So where exactly is it held?
So Moving On is held on the IM Fields. So it is an outdoor event, but we are rain or shine. So
wait, if it rains, are like people coming out there with like umbrellas, or
you cannot bring umbrellas, but you can bring like a poncho. We have that type of thing, but we do monitor weather. So like if anything were to get dangerous, like in terms of thunderstorms, like then like the correct messages would be sent out for people to evacuate. But if it's just raining, yes, we do continue with the show.
Oh, that's awesome. So like how does our students buy tickets?
So Moving On is actually not a ticketed event.
Wow.
It's free for all students.
That's great.
Yeah. So we do have security at the entrance, like at entryways.
Sure.
But no one will need to scan a ticket because it's free. You just need to show that you have a valid ID, a government issued ID or a student ID that states you're 18 or older.
Oh, wow. So do we know the date for this year's?
Yes, this year, every year it is on the last Friday of classes in the spring. So this year that lands on April 28th for 2023.
That's coming up. That's exciting. So can you give us some examples of some artists that have been like past Moving On festivals?
Yeah, definitely. So actually last year we had Jack Harlow headlining, and then we had Amine and Fits in the Tantrums and the Aces. So that was our lineup for last year. But it changes a lot over the years. We've had Group Love. We've had we also have a fall show, so we've had different artists for that. So this year we had Kyle and 303 for our fall show. So
does Moving On happen like twice a year, or is it like titled differently, or?
It's titled differently. So in the fall, we have Lights Up, which is specifically collaborating with SPA. So it's called Lights Up. But so that happens on the Hub Lawn, but Moving On is just in the spring. And so that's our festival that happens on the 28th.
Do you have like a favorite performer or performer you've always wished that you could get on Moving On?
I honestly, like, for Moving On, I really like think about what the students would want to see most of the time, because we're funded by student fees. So we really like work hard to make sure that like as many people are happy with the lineup as possible and that it's a diverse lineup. But as for some of my favorite artists, Miley Cyrus, I love Paramore.
Is there like a good chance we could like get those? Maybe not on this Moving On, but like potential future ones, or like how does that even work? Like getting like big time artists like that, come onto the festival.
Yeah. So I have to give big props to our middle agent. We work. His name's Brett Pasternak. We also worked with Dave Stevens in the past, but they help us a lot when it comes to having those connections in the industry with different artist agents. But yeah, like it's not just us, but we work throughout the whole year to make those lists, and then we have a lot of help from our advisor and our middle agents.
Really cool. So I was like on your website the other day, and it looks like there's a bunch of different events itself that go into the festival. Could you talk a little about that?
Yes. So we are an organization that functions throughout the whole year. So as Moving On is an event that takes like over a year to plan for the next one. But as the year goes, we have events like our Spotlight series, which is a way to like promote student acts or give students performance opportunities throughout the year in the hub. So that's one thing we do. We also have Battle, which is happening on April 4th this year. And that happens in the hub in Alumni Hall, which is an event where different student acts compete to be the opening act for Moving On.
Oh, wow. That seems real good. Do you guys get like a lot of applicants, or like, is it like a pretty cutthroat competition? Or?
It's definitely competitive. I mean, it's a really cool thing to be able to say as a student artist that you opened up for Moving On with the name that we have in the industry. And yeah, so definitely a lot of applicants, but there's always high levels of talent there.
So who judges the how they get to be the opening act? Like, is it the students? Do you guys have like a board? Like,
so during COVID, when it was completely virtual, we did have a year where students voted for the winner. But most of the time when it is in person, we select 3 different judges in the Penn State community. Normally, at least one is a student, and yeah, and they work to judge, and normally they have some type of music background or at least interest in music. So, yeah.
That's really cool. And one last question. So I also read about the Acoustic Roadshow. So what exactly is that?
Yes. So, Acoustic Roadshow is a program that we have that brings, again, we work really hard to promote student artists and performers throughout the year because that's kind of one of our goals to be able to give them a spotlight. But Acoustic Roadshow brings those student acts that apply into the dining halls to like provide some live music for anyone who's eating or doing work in there, and also as just a means to promote our festival throughout the year. But we haven't had that since before COVID, so this year we're working really hard to bring it back. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to going to it. Now that's all the time we have for tonight. And thank you again for sharing about moving on. Up next, Anjelica and AJ will bring you the latest news from across the nation. Stay tuned.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For all of us here at the Belisari Media Center, we are
Penn State Sports Night.
Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News.
Penn State Network News is a student-produced, bi-weekly live news show featuring all student talent.
From local and national news to sports, entertainment, weather, and live interviews, we have it all.
We also feature student-made packages from across campus.
Airing every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m.
We are PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.
Hey everyone, we are Red Carpet News, your main source of entertainment news at Penn State University.
Man, this festival is going to be popping.
I'm Alex Porzillo, here with Aiden Harold.
He's going to 23rd with Daddy Elon Warbucks to actual space away from Kim.
So in sync, especially during Kendrick's part when they came out.
Reporting on anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion, to celebrity gossip. You don't want to miss out on any of the hot topics we discuss.
Find our segments on YouTube under the name Red Carpet News for your daily dose of entertainment.
We are Red Carpet News.
New orders from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency came Friday as it ordered states to stop blocking contaminated waste from being sent to hazardous waste sites around the country. This comes after the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, which released several tons of toxic chemicals into the local environment. In a letter sent to all states, the EPA said the blockage of shipments violated a federal law dealing with the interstate transportation of waste. Though many nearby residents remain worried about the contamination the derailment caused, government officials say tests over the past month have not found any dangerous levels of chemicals in the air or water.
States that rely on water from the Colorado River are urging the U.S. Supreme Court to block a lawsuit from the Navajo Nation that could change how that water is distributed. The tribe says that the government broke a 150-year promise to not make people struggle from a lack of water. Now, roughly a third of the 175,000 residents don't have running water in their homes. States in the Colorado Basin, such as Arizona, California, and Nevada, argue that more water for the Navajo Nation would cut basic needs for their own residents.
The Biden administration is facing backlash after approving the Willow Project, a large-scale oil drilling proposal in Alaska last Monday. Though White House officials are quick to defend the decision, outrage on social media has continued. More than 1 million letters have been sent to the White House in protest, and a Change.org petition of over 3 million signatures went viral. Legal measures have also been threatened, with the Natural Resources Defense Council leading the charge with a social media campaign clearly stating they will sue if the project continues.
The controversial Willow Project is continuing to cause debate within communities in Alaska. The drilling project is the largest in Alaska's history and is projected to make 180,000 barrels of oil a day. At least 263 million tons in greenhouse gas emissions are expected to be released after that oil is used. Alaska's North Slope community celebrated Biden's decision as new jobs and infrastructure improvements will benefit the area. Other communities fear that 50 years of oil production will reverse many climate change advancements made in recent years. Leaders in the Nuiqsut community stated in a letter to President Biden's cabinet that their village will become, quote, ground zero for the industrialization of the Arctic. Well, that concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay classy, Penn State.